Why would anyone want it to not be raining? What's even the point? Why even live if it's not raining? Absolutely worthless. So today I have some good news, which is I don't remember anything offensive in these 3 episodes. Not that I remember. I mean, it has been like 5 years. But yeah. So the episodes are Conscience of the King, which is where the bad news comes in, where this is, we get to meet the character who murdered Hoshi from Enterprise, so that's fun. Then we get Balance of Terror, which it's Balance of Terror. Everyone knows Balance of Terror. It's really good. And then Shore Leave, which is not so good. It's an episode they literally were still writing as they were shooting. They were just making it up as they went along, and it's totally incoherent. But, you know, there's a rabbit, and Chekhov gets a gun. Wait, no, not Chekhov. Sulu gets a gun, I believe. And then... oh, we get to meet Captain Kirk's school bully, who's... I think he's Irish, or, you know, Star Trek's version of Irish. It's not ideal. But, you know, wait, how many episodes were in season 1? I was going to say they have to fill 26 episodes, but did they? Let me look. Oh, yeah. Oh, 29 episodes. They had filled 29 episodes. So, yeah, they were, there's some filler. Conscience of the King, I don't know anything about it other than we meet the guy who murdered Hoshi. That's all I know. And that's all I've got to say about the episodes. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, it's season 1, episode 13, by the way, so I won't queue up. I finished Baldur's Gate 3 on Friday. It's pretty good. There's definitely a lot of jank in Act 3. Soma, would you agree that Baldur's Gate 3 has a lot of jank in Act 3?
I haven't played it.
Why not?
I will play it at some point when I get paid.
God, it's Halo Infinite all over again. You play like 1 hour a week.
I will play it, just when I get paid first.
No, you have to finish it before Friday because that's when Starfield comes out.
I will play both eventually.
My goodness. Do you remember anything about Conscience of the King?
Not off the top of my head.
I looked up the synopsis. There's like an acting troupe, and just from when I scrolled through for a thumbnail, it's like some stage play. But I mean, TOS looks like a stage play anyway, so I don't... what do I know?
Oh, is it the one where they've got the people who come in and do dancing and things? No, it doesn't look like it's that one. There is a troupe which comes in and dances and sings in one of the episodes, but it's not this one.
It's about Kodos the Executioner, that governor who, like, his colony was starving, so he culled half the people or something. It's about that guy.
Ah, yes.
What actually
I remember
happened
the
in
end of the episode.
What happens at the end? Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yes.
Do you remember Shore Leave, though? Because that's a memorable episode.
Oh, it's been a while since I've watched TOS, if I'm quite honest. But
well, the thumbnail
yeah,
I put up pretty much sums it up.
There's the one where he gets shot with the plant, isn't it?
Maybe. I think McCoy gets shot. McCoy dies. It's a whole thing. He gets better, but he's going to count as a death. Oh, yeah, that's a new rule. Away team deaths, I'm going to count people who are later resurrected. So if they die on the away team but come back to life, they still count.
Yep, that makes sense.
I think there was one of the Star Trek Adventure games where you get shot by a plant. I think that was on the Aztec planet.
There's definitely an episode in TOS where they get shot by a plant.
Might be this one. We'll find out. Tune in for episode 3. And press play on episode 1 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. my god. That's... This is clearly a terrible production of a Shakespeare play, because Shakespeare, all of his characters who die, they always shout out, "Oh, I am slain," every single time.
Tyrion Macbeth.
Is that like William Shatner sitting next to William Shatner's stunt double? That guy seriously looks like older William Shatner. Okay, so it is actually a stage play. They're still using the same sets they normally do, but it's a stage play this time. We can just see the edges. Oh, yeah, he didn't shout, "I am slain" in Macbeth because they killed him off screen or off page, I guess. A major plot point. Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, we change perspective in the play, don't we?
Yeah, they have, like, well, it's going to be confusing because they're both called Macbeth. They have Dude Macbeth just pacing the hallway and freaking out, while Lady Macbeth goes and stabs someone off screen.
Yeah. And in this case, it's actually
Mr. Macbeth that killed him.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess he has experience. He's already murdered a few thousand people. Why not one more?
No, he just wanted to be the one to kill the person in the play because he so enjoys it.
Macbeth is a weird play. It's clearly a play that a lot was cut for time. It feels like half of it is missing.
Yeah, a lot of it is implied.
The conscience of the king. Excuse me, he's a governor. What are we murdering vocabulary now? Wait, why is there a threat of famine? What do you mean, Star Trek? What happened to post-scarcity? Oh wow, we're jumping right into it. I thought Kirk was gonna like have to talk to him. I was like, something about this man seems oddly familiar. No, straight up, he's Kodos. We figured it out. Best detective ever.
Start of the episode, definitely nothing else to happen in here. It's definitely not all go fine from here.
No, you don't understand. The cops determined that it's all taken care of. There's nothing to worry about. You don't have to question it further. Oh, some nice Vaseline going on in that shot. I find it interesting how much... This might sound odd. How much of a house this house looks. Like, it doesn't have sci-fi auto doors. It just has, like, regular glass sliding doors.
Ooh, what's going on here? That's just some fabric over his face.
Yeah. It makes him look less like William Shatner. Also, plot twist, he's not dead. That would be a heck of a twist, though. If we get to the end of the episode and we figure out, yeah, no, it's actually not Kodos. We were right the first time.
Yes.
So, Earview, would you agree that Macbeth is too short?
Yes.
And has a lot of weird jumps?
Yes.
Okay, good. Oh, is this our first example of the computer? This is the first time.
So Avengers Endgame ripped off this because Thanos has the same decision. You have a choice. You have to kill one of every two people, and you do it randomly. And people are going to call you evil, but guess what? You're not evil. You're just trying to make things work.
Except
Well, I mean,
Thanos
there's-
had an Infinity Stone, which eventually had an Infinity Stone, which meant he just doubled the resources in the universe.
Or alternatively, you find a solution that's sustainable and not just solving it for one generation.
Yes.
Because I mean, the population's going to grow again.
Look,
You're not
guys,
fixing anything.
you've never been governor of a planet, okay? Let me know when.
Yeah, I've also
you
never
have to make-
murdered several thousand people.
Let me know when you have all this responsibility. There wasn't enough grain, okay? There wasn't enough grain.
So he killed Hoshi? It's messed up, dude.
Something, TNG would never go here, and neither would the subsequent Trek, because we don't have like the private sector. But here, different planets are almost like under private sector control.
Dude, did you watch the first two seasons of TNG? What about the clone planet? Or the Irish planet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the planet with the guy who was overdubbed and wants to fight the Shellyak? Or Tasha's planet? Tasha's planet
Yeah,
especially. Jesus
Tasha's
Christ.
planet is. She only had a cat for like survival. Everything else was like bad. Don't ask. It's amazing Tasha came out like psychologically in one piece.
Why?
Um,
So this is the 60s, but like, this is also the future, so just compare DNA. It's super easy.
it's
Surely
amazing.
Surely we have the governor's DNA on file.
No, so I learned, this is the 60s. So I learned that like OJ was acquitted in 93 of killing his wife, but DNA evidence was so new at the time that like the lawyer was able to cast doubt on the validity of DNA evidence. Now that would never happen.
DNA evidence was like it was in the first decade of the 1900s.
No, DNA was discovered in the 60s though. By Francis Crick and
wasn't.
Watt.
Hang
Sir
on,
Allen.
let me Google
There was
the
54.
first
actually it might have been
the
fingerprinted,
first
I'm
use of
thinking of.
DNA evidence in court. DNA fingerprinting was first used in forensic science in 1986.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. So no, discovering Kodos,
It might have been fingerprinting I was thinking about.
it would have been facial recognition. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing that we were so late in discovering fingerprints. So
So
late.
apparently DNA was first identified in the late 1860s. They just didn't know what to do with it until then.
Yeah, I was going to say the actual discovery of it was earlier.
God, why didn't, in the 60s, why didn't they just predict it?
It's facial recognition. See, I guess this is almost like identifying Nazis who escaped to Argentina or something after World War II. But it's like, hey, I recognize his face. That's the prison guard from the concentration camp.
No, it's like when you're walking down Falkreath and some weird voice with a fake accent goes, "Wait, I know you."
So, because what is it? Kirk's like cousin who first identifies him because he's a Shakespearean actor now, which is another hilarious thing. Oh, they were doing Macbeth. That's why you were asking. Okay.
Yeah,
October
and
1990 to April 2003 was the Human Genome Project.
they changed the
Yeah.
Macbeth story in the show to have Dude Macbeth be the one to stab him. The king.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of movie renditions do that.
Kirk, what
Which-
are you doing? What kind of
If
murder
you're actually
investigation is this?
producing it, yeah. If you're actually producing Macbeth, that removes half the point of Macbeth. Like the
Don't-
whole character stuff going on there
don't
is
they
Macbeth
both
isn't
chicken
able
out?
to kill.
Don't they both check it out at one point? Because Lady Macbeth says, "I was reminded of my old father sleeping there, and I chose not to kill him."
No, she never chicken. I mean, she might have said that, but she did end up stabbing
She didn't
him
want to kill him
straight up.
initially, but then
Okay.
when Macbeth didn't
Chickened out.
do it.
Well,
Yeah.
hang on,
She decided to take it.
I
I think.
reread Macbeth recently because it's
Mhm.
super
Yeah.
short and it takes like 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And what struck me when I read it was as soon as Macbeth, this is so confusing to describe them. As soon as the dude tells the lady, it's like, oh, the witches told me I was going to be king. Lady Macbeth is immediately like, yes, bring him to the castle. We will execute him here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's her first thought.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Um, there
Oh,
was an
Kurt.
we she loves her father a little too much.
Ooh, this is excessively close to the Romulan theme, which we'll get next episode.
Mhm. How so?
Wait, what's close to the
The,
Romulan?
the, the music playing
Mhm.
there is almost just a slowed down version of the
I
Romulan
th
theme next episode.
I thought you meant the
Star
Phantom
Trek
of the Opera
reusing
mask.
music.
It's just very interesting.
Yeah, that's actually a messed up thing to say when somebody's dead. At least you have peace now. It's I mean, I guess she's not the cause of the torment, but usually it's people who do the torment say, "Oh, you look so peaceful now." Yes,
So what you're saying is she killed him.
I would usually. But I gotta say, the acting for this episode is put my, like hold my earrings. It's very award winning because it deals with the topic of intentional starvation by the authorities, which has happened a few times in human history, and it's been pretty messed up.
On an unrelated note, I need to search the scripts real quick because I don't remember anyone in Star Trek ever saying hi. And this dude just said hi.
Yeah.
Well, he did just he said John Jim here. Oh, we've got a operations gold there.
Hmm. She's a professional.
Okay, so apparently people actually say hi in Star Trek all the time. Never mind.
Okay.
I I recently bought the Discovery Science pin, a science badge, and also the 50-year badge.
Oh, that's really cool. The swirly one in the center.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, that comes from TOS too, right? They have swirly signs
Yes.
in the center. Yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool. I wish I had one.
They're for £4 at the moment on Master Replicas if you did want to.
Oh, cool.
Kirk, that doesn't answer anything.
I would be science, if I was on a starship.
You have no science credentials, dude. What are you talking about?
Like, I can,
You can't
turn
just put
the.
on a blue shirt and call yourself a scientist.
I'm just gonna turn the lights off at the lab. That's all. I can do that.
I believe I would be Well, I wouldn't be Starfleet. I'd be civilian worker.
Yeah,
But
I'd
if I
just be
had to
like,
pick a color, it would be yellow because I think like accounting stuff would fall under operations.
okay.
But no, I would not join Starfleet because they're crazy.
Um,
Ooh, she has a
so
giant taco. Nice.
I guess this kind of gets to a B plot in a sense, but it ties back into the A plot. He gets a hot romance, but it turns out she supports her genocidal father. It's like she's really the darling of the whole episode, but she can't get over.
Who's Marla McGivers?
She cannot get over her father, even if he killed half the people on the planet.
Oh, Marla McGivers is the lady who falls in love with Khan. Yeah, she's the one who's really into genocide.
Ah. I mean, in her defense, it's her father. Like, if someone raises you, you may be like, I don't care if he's killed 500,000 people.
No, I definitely turned my father in for genocide. 100%.
Yeah, I know. You should. There's only
To my
5,000
knowledge,
people,
though,
right?
none of my relatives have committed genocide. As far as I know. I do have a lot of German ancestry, so I guess it depends how far you go back.
I mean, if you want to go far back enough, there's rapists and killers in everybody's family. So
Yeah.
going back to the Neanderthal, we certainly raped a lot of them and killed a lot of them.
You're a Neanderthal?
We have Neanderthal DNA. Or actually, we kind of wiped them out and incorporated their DNA.
I do find it interesting that there's a difference between the actual badge design of the operations and science discovery pins. Because the operations one is just a flat pin, but the science one is a flat pin, but the operations one has a 2-layered part to it, sort of thing. There's a step down on the right hand side.
Cool. I love the Discovery flag of the Federation, which is like diminished stars.
Hmm.
Discovery had some really cool design elements.
Yeah.
Star Service Lieutenant. Oh, it's not even Starfleet. Star Service Lieutenant. Wow. How come they never used that in Strange New Worlds? Why isn't Captain Pike of the Star Service ship Enterprise?
Just a retcon as it always was Starfleet.
Kevin Riley here is a guy who was controlling the Enterprise from the engine room, and singing drunk as an Irishman. I believe he's a victim of Kodos or something. Yeah. He does the crazy acting where like I mean
McCoy seems a little laissez-faire about the fact they're accusing a man of committing genocide down on the planet, but I mean, you do you, McCoy.
Well, they haven't been informed yet. Kirk hasn't told anyone. That's why he's acting strangely to Spock.
Oh.
I am curious that Kirk is not straight up not saying anything to Spock or McCoy about why he's doing things.
it's deeply personal because like
I-
Kirk survived it
true.
too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand why he doesn't say it on the bridge, but
Yeah.
to his trusted first officer Spock, surely he would, in reality, explain it.
Spock,
And-
you could just mind meld with the actor. We could solve this in 2 minutes.
Aside from obvious World War II parallels, the other genocide, the Soviet Union like sold the grain from Ukraine and caused the genocide there during Stalin's era. It was called Holodomor. A couple of million Ukrainians died. But yeah,
Spock's
just you can inflict genocide by starving people.
yes.
Messed up.
Spock's having flashbacks to drinking so much alcohol with the Klingons that he really doesn't want to touch the stuff right now.
He doesn't want to drop with the true. He's so southern.
So she's like the sweetest little bee.
Is she? I mean, she's
Well-
doing that 60s voice thing where everything
yeah.
is really soft spoken and breathy,
Yeah. Marilyn Monroe did it too. Like,
but I don't trust her. Everyone with this voice in Star Trek is evil.
Almost as old as the stars themselves. No, that's a few thousand years old. The stars are a few billion years old.
right. But something.
Wait, where are they going? Wait, there's the space dust stars moving out sideways in the background. That was very
heading
well
to the
phrased. You
colony.
know what I mean.
Maybe they're going to orbit around the planet.
They're going to a colony.
Okay.
Kirk said redirect to Benicia colony.
Okay.
How are you keeping track of everything that's happening in this episode?
Because I'm reading the subtitles.
Because there's genocide, romance, subterfuge, Shakespeare.
This is an act, right? That Kirk's putting on. He's not actually trying to
Yeah.
seduce her. He's trying to.
I mean,
Figure out-
he's Kurt, so are they really any different?
I don't think he's gonna say no. She's throwing herself at him, and I mean, basically, that's the reason for beautiful women in every TOS episode. I hate to say it, but
How can you even tell when there's Vaseline all over the filter?
no, because do you remember the episode where he becomes an android, or no? It's the one where the light ray like changes it erases his brain, and so the first thing the ship psychologist does is suggest they go on a date or something, and they kiss. So anything to find a reason for Kirk to kiss a beautiful woman.
And here Spock is on the bridge actually doing his frickin' job. Unlike some people, Captain.
To be fair, in the 50s, they used to censor kisses. Like, they used to just, like, pull down the shades and, like, turn their back to the camera in the 50s. And so, at this point, the censorship board was getting a little bit more permissive.
Was that the first reference to James T. Kirk as opposed to R. Kirk in this series?
I would
Maybe.
say so.
Sounds like it.
I would say so. Because that's his personnel file, too. So.
A potential headcanon for, not that we need to, but a potential headcanon for why it's different is the ESP dude was a very good friend of Kurt, so maybe he had a nickname for Kurt that he put on the tombstone.
Oh, so it's not just rationing. It's you make sure you kill the right people so the rest can
Mm.
live.
And he had theories of, like, blonde
Thanks,
hair, blue
Kodos.
eyes. See, this is messed up. 4,000 people isn't that much.
That's pretty messed up, yeah.
Let me mute
That's a
myself.
lot of people.
And it was actual murder as opposed to indirect killing of them through allowing them to starve.
It's true, you like withhold food from 4,000 people.
Oh, good. Spock figured it out on his own. Good job, Spock. Why is Spock not the captain? He's clearly better at this. In fact, does Spock ever get command of a ship? Like, I know he becomes captain in rank, but he just, like, does training stuff.
Oh, wow.
Nice detective work there, Spock.
This traveling Shakespeare group is an secret assassination squad.
Just one of them.
Wow. So imagine, like, exiled Nazis in Argentina were killing survivors of the camps or something. There was a serious concern that escaped Nazis would form a state in Argentina because enough of them had actually fled.
Wait. What is happening in the show?
He's been transferred, so he's safer, I presume.
But
thank you so much.
But he hasn't been transferred because this is the same station he was at in previous episodes. This is just his job.
They brought him out to the bridge briefly.
This is his spot.
No, remember he was up on the bridge?
But when he was at this station before when he was water drunk.
Yeah.
Also, I'm surprised we're getting more than one scene with Uhura singing.
She does this even in season 2 in the Nomad episode. It's kind of nice, like, because
it reminds me of Lord of the Rings, where there's a plot happening, but occasionally they'll just stop for a brief musical moment.
Only so that we can have a murder.
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
theater
it's
used
just Lieutenant Riley. We can murder him. It's fine.
theater is like that. You do have musicals just to make it easier to watch. It's kind of cool though. We wouldn't get this in TNG.
No, in TNG, we just get our poetry recitals and
And
lots of classical music concerts.
trombone playing from Micah, who
And
is not
jazz
very good.
concerts. Yeah.
There's
Everyone
some
on the
violins
Enterprise
and
D is such a
things.
nerd.
Oh my
Throw a spray
god.
Oh
bottle
my
into the
god, the
drink.
futuristic spray bottle.
Look, plastic was new
No,
back
not
then.
plastic, just the design of the spray bottle was new.
Yeah, everything was new. Like I see in the episode where they have the other planet where Kirk's family's killed, with the amoeba, the flying amoeba. It's more like the ravioli, the flying ravioli. Um, they attack people with like acrylic cylinders, and I'm like, that must have been so futuristic back then. Just an acrylic plastic see-through rod.
Okay, so Lieutenant Riley was not on the away team. He doesn't count toward the counter.
No, unfortunately.
Yes.
It should be a red shirt counter. I propose to change to red shirt counter now. Oh, he's not red shirt right now.
God, I hope someone says, well, don't cry over spilled milk.
Yeah.
Come on, Kodos, you get a one-liner for the murder.
You know, they should have done this to Sonia Gomez. Like,
They
bring
should
her
have
back.
murdered Sonia.
They should have brought her back just to be like a genocide survivor and then die from a cup of milk. It would have been
Why?
good. I'm just saying,
Why
like,
would they do that to her?
this is a
Just
great.
because she spilled coffee on the captain, you want to genocide her whole world? Sorry, it was chocolate milk or hot chocolate or something.
It's just funny
Doesn't
to see
matter.
somebody who was like extra in one episode just be like another deeply important plot.
She shows up again in Lower Decks. She gets a role.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's just mentioned. We might hear her, but doesn't matter. Tried to put wait, he lived?
He's living at the moment.
My mom says thank you to Alexa after she turns on the TV for her, so it turns it off.
Kodos, you're so terrible at murder. Why? How is this guy still alive? You should have died immediately, Kodos.
That's the thing.
Sorry, it was actually the lady who Kirk was trying to seduce.
If they didn't go around trying to kill the survivors, they would have just gotten away with the whole genocide. Like, there's no reason for them to kill 7 people.
Oh, it's because he didn't want to accidentally run into them, I suppose. So if he did, then that would be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a murderer, you gotta clean up the mess. It makes no sense that you're the governor of a whole planet and only 7 people recognize you. I'm sure everybody recognizes you.
Do you know what your governor looks like?
Yes,
Do you
it's a
recognize
woman.
them on the street?
It's a woman. It's a woman. No, I wouldn't I wouldn't think I'd ever see the governor. But they also live 100 miles away.
That wasn't the question here of you. Would you recognize the governor if you saw them?
There's no reason for the governor to be on my street, but so I would probably miss them, to be honest with you. But yeah,
would there
I would
be a
recognize.
reason for this genocidal governor to be performing Macbeth on some rando planet?
Would I recognize the governor at a Shakespeare play in my local library? No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't.
Exactly.
Do you know something funny? In Batman: The Dark Knight, Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont is the old guy who Joker first attacks at a party, and he says, "We're not scared of you." It's a real life senator, and I didn't recognize it, even though I knew the face.
Kirk, maybe we should just detain him briefly while we investigate. No, I don't think you have to be that sure. I'm pretty sure you have the authority to at least briefly detain someone. 24-hour hold?
Yes.
Something?
That's the thing. You wouldn't even recognize somebody from childhood like that.
No, logic's totally enough, Kirk.
This guy's hilarious. So when you ask him, "Are you Kodos?" He's like, "Why are you asking me?"
I don't know what Kirk actually wants here because he's saying that empirical evidence won't convince him he's Kodos. He has to feel like he's Kodos.
Yeah.
What do you want?
I think it's like you would remember something from somebody who impacted your childhood that much, like a certain word that you say or something, or a laugh.
Quick, Spock, use your Vulcan ears. Okay, I was about to say why don't they just leave, but that's why.
Yeah.
Is it behind the? It's not a painting exactly. Vent, painting, one or the other. Okay, this is actually really annoying to listen to. I don't like this scene.
Kurt
Um,
is
yeah,
doing the
this is
same thing.
phaser overload. Oh wow. Oh wow, they reuse that thing in Star Trek 6 when they find the boots. Or no, actually, they're in someone's locker, but they find yeah, they do find boots.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the screeching.
I'm sorry. Okay, that got a little better.
Wait, where does that chute go? Is that a direct vent into space? What did they just blow up?
The garbage chute.
They blew up a whole deck just somewhere else that Kirk wasn't.
Hmm. Wow, they really tried to kill Kirk, huh? Oh,
It's
something.
something that is very, very loud and very, very obvious.
Yeah, unlike the squirt of poison in someone's glass of milk.
And
Where
that
did
is
the
still
lady
getting
even get a
into
gun?
his. Yeah.
Where did she find that?
So in the theater community, Shakespeare is considered bad luck. Um, and they devise all these things that you do to undo the curse of Macbeth. I'm sorry, Shakespeare's not bad luck. Macbeth is bad luck. So you could like spin 3 times or run around the theater 3 times backwards. Um, all these superstitions. And to undo the curse,
If you
some people,
perform Macbeth in a play, the
yeah,
person playing Lady Macbeth will end up stabbing the director
something
to
like that,
gain his power.
something like that. And one thing that theater people do is if you recite from a Midsummer Night's Dream, which is about fairies, that undoes the curse of Macbeth, which is about witches.
Oh, don't tell him that. Just have him read it.
I mean, why don't you just have him do a play?
This is a bluff, right? It's not actually going to do that.
I mean, you can use voice comparison, and it is actually, with today's
Very,
AI systems, very accurate.
very amazing that you
I don't think
because
that's what's happening here, though. I think Kirk just is having him talking to some random panel.
no, at this point the computer in and TNG early is very AI in the sense that it's like omniscient almost. Like
Yeah, it's probably fine that he's just reading this without looking at it. That's fine. It's probably
yeah.
legit. He's just a fast reader. Don't worry about it.
So
Wait, I was joking. I thought this was like a confession on his part. I thought that was why he put the paper down. He's actually trying to. Okay.
I'm not a genocidal dictator. I'm just defending him.
He's a genocidal governor. It's different.
Mhm. Look, like I said, when you run a colony of 8,000 people, you let me know.
He killed Hoshi. This guy's dead.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we find out in the mirror episode of TOS of
Well, strictly
Enterprise
speaking, we
that
don't find out.
yes.
It was written for Hoshi's bio in that episode, but it's not actually displayed on screen, that part.
Uh, I don't.
Oh, was it needless, Captain Kirk?
I don't.
Oh, so it was unnecessary. Cool, because there was
Mhm,
just more food.
Yeah.
mhm. S-
I'm very confused by Kodos because he's clearly just admitting to it and justifying his actions, and at the same time he's saying, "Nah, but I'm totally not Kodos, though."
So in communist China, Mao had this idea called the Great Leap Forward, and he like forced people to melt down their pots and pans to make iron, which was poor quality and they couldn't use it anyway. And they also starved. But people had to eat leaves to survive, and you can't actually normally digest leaves.
Speak
But
for yourself, dude.
if you could digest leaves, you would have an evolutionary advantage over people who couldn't. That's how bad it was. But yeah, why couldn't he let the
Have you
people?
heard of lettuce?
True. But I'm saying normally if you eat like the leaves of a big tree, like those big leafy greens.
Eucalyptus. Go full koala.
That would burn your stomach a little. But it's a bad idea to have like one person do a command economy and like demand quotas of grain without worrying about how many people have to actually eat. China was very crippled by Mao's Great Leap Forward. I really like how she defends it because you hate her so much.
Wait, what is she talking? You could have spared him and you murdered two
You're
people, lady.
murdering people
Yeah.
left and right. Uh-huh.
She is the murderer, right? I'm not crazy. Like, this is
She
super
is.
obvious, right?
She's also she's the brainchild of the traveling Shakespeare assassin troupe. I know you're right, Ryan. She's playing victim. How is she playing victim? Mm-hmm.
Did you have
Mm-hmm.
mercy
I
for
find-
Lieutenant Riley?
I find the message here interesting because it's the two bad guys talking about them not being human in the system. Like, that's a very weird angle to come at
How
it
dare
from.
you not consider the personal effects your actions would have on people? What was that whole thing about murdering people?
What harm was done?
Parents in front of
4,000
them?
people were killed, mate. This is easy. You killed 4,000 people.
It is a lot.
It's a quantifiable harm.
And he did it in a really weird way. Like, why would you murder half of a single family? Why would you not just murder an entirety of a different family? Don't murder half of two families. Come on. You gotta collate your murder. Optimize it.
Riley's hurt and he's gonna try and murder the guy now.
Of course he is.
He
Riley's
survived
the
the
worst.
he survived
Look,
the
if you-
assassination.
Kodos, he murdered parts of families, and that just leaves people who want revenge on you. It's a bad plan.
Ah, the original 1701 model from TOS also has those city outbits at the end of the nacelles. I think a later model of it doesn't, but that model does.
You know, there was a acting group on Discord that I was part of. Every month we did a talent show, and I did a couple of Macbeth lines, and the most fun was Lady Macbeth's "Unsex Me Here, Spirits." She talks about like she tells the demons to make her not a woman, so she's hard enough to kill someone. Unsex me here,
I
because we think
yes,
of women
but
as dainty.
do we?
No, we don't. But that's what the Shakespeare thing is referring to. You would think a man is going to do the bloody business of murder. So she goes, "Don't make me soft like a woman. Make me rough like a man."
Yeah, I
And
don't think
she,
that was necessary. She was pretty content to be a full-on
yeah,
murderer as a woman.
she
That
didn't
was
need
that
to
was
ask the
fine.
demons.
But
Yeah.
I have questions about the show, which is how is this play still going forward?
It's true. But also,
Hmm.
security here, the weapons locker has been broken into and a phaser has been brought. So does that mean that she and him brought a phaser with them? Because how else did they get a phaser without it being noticed?
Hmm.
And
The
in that
show
case,
must go
how
on,
could
guys.
they keep a phaser with them?
It doesn't matter if you're a murder suspect. You have a show to put on. Or they're doing Hamlet now. Why is the why is this captioning putting him as Caridian? That's not Caridian. That's Kodos.
Because it's
No,
for
that
now
is
and meant to be
Hamlet.
unclear.
Hmm.
It's not Caridian or Kodos. Can't you tell by the way he's speaking like this? He's a spooky ghost.
Oh look, he's playing the victim again. He's Hamlet's father. You ain't no Hamlet's father. You're the uncle.
Oh yeah, nobody is guarding Riley anymore. I guess because it's illegal to try to murder someone more than once. It didn't work the first time, so they have to give up. It's fine. He has a gun now.
So that's the person who killed your entire family, and Riley's supposed to be not emotional.
No, he's just not supposed to run out in the middle of a play with a gun.
Yeah.
He can be emotional all he wants.
No, I mean,
He's totally getting fired, though. He was about to murder a dude.
who murdered everyone in his family?
Still murder, though.
Mm,
As everyone knows, cool motive, still murder.
it's true. Revenge is not justice. Justice.
It's only justice if the state murders them.
I think at this point in human history, we recognize we don't do that either.
We definitely do that, though.
No, I'm saying in the 23rd century.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait, no. You get
Except,
murdered by the state if you go to Talos 4.
right.
Or
She
presumably other things like treason. Like Jamie
important
says.
reveal happened in here. She was the person who's been murdering everyone, and she knew
Yeah, it's
everything
not a
about
reveal.
it.
We all knew that.
It's true, but it's
It was
just the
very
point where they
obvious.
actually say.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, if your daddy killed 4,000 people and you just have to kill 7 more, is that really a high price to pay? She's more concerned about the show.
You can't kill a ghost. What are you talking about?
Oh, you didn't read the Shakespeare play, huh? What about Macbeth? My favorite line is Lady Macbeth saying, "Out, out, you damn spot. All the perfumes of Arabia could not
What does
take
she
this
have
blood
against
from
Data's
your
cat? He's a good cat. And a
hands."
pretty cat.
But like she's trying to take the blood off, and it's a very vivid scene where the blood doesn't come off easily.
Yeah, I guess they didn't have solid laundry instructions in the 1600s. Because these
Yeah.
days, you got like special enzyme cleaners you can use to get blood out of stuff. It's really easy. Pick it up at the store. Just chill.
Yeah, but forensics can even pick that up, that there used to be human blood on this tile until it was cleaned off. So don't try to get away with it.
Who talks like that, lady?
So
Kirk, did you bring a gun?
this
You
is
still
like
have
the
Riley's
twisted
gun?
genocidal thinking. It's like we were just protecting our country.
I
Mhm.
feel like he's got some things to justify, like
Yes.
4,000 people's deaths. But whatever.
He's
Mhm.
still speaking like Shakespeare.
Well, I mean, they're both tragic and dramatic. She would have. She would have killed another 4,000 people to cover up that original crime.
Kirk, don't you dare allow this play to continue. No, we can totally deny him his last performance.
I don't think the performance matters anymore.
What? Is she okay?
No, she's totally
Did
cracked.
she go through the
Clearly not.
lobotomy machine?
I I think she's ready to kill everybody on the ship, and she wants to take it to do more performances on other planets.
And now she kills herself? I feel
I
like
No,
that's
she-
like...
this is different than what I thought.
No? Okay.
By the way, a scream usually signifies innocence. So in her head, she's like totally innocent. Okay, lady.
Oh my god, Lenora, nobody talks like this.
It seems that the implication is she thinks she's part of a play herself.
Yeah, she needs some mental help. She's got some issues going on.
Listen, we all get wrapped up in Shakespeare sometimes, where we just start reciting it spontaneously. It's just that good.
I love reciting that old Shakespeare sonnet about telling a woman she's ugly and smells bad, but he loves her anyway.
So it's a very convenient setting for the daughter to have had the phaser on, unless she changed it. In that the person just dies. That's it. Just dies. Nothing else.
Episode
There's
name drop.
plenty of time for this.
Conscience of the King.
No,
Yeah,
Kirk, don't
take
get the
her
phaser
away.
so close to her hand, Kirk. Jesus.
Take her away.
There are like 30 officers there. Have someone else who isn't... Don't put the gun in her... God, he did it again.
He was a genocidal murderer. She was a serial killer.
Yeah, the Enterprise there has two bits sticking out at the top of each nacelle, and the Discovery Enterprise has one extra bit on the bottom of the nacelles.
Oh, with that Shakespeare sonnet I mentioned, that's one that Captain Picard recites. What is it? How does it go? It's when he's trying to get Loxana back from the Ferengi.
Hold on, that's interesting. Matoy just said she will remember nothing. She even thinks her dad is alive. I
Yeah,
suppose
she needs
there's
help.
a strongly traumatic memory, and the brain just deleted it.
Oh,
Which is a thing which does happen.
In faith I do not love thee with mine eyes, for they in thee 1,000 errors see. But 'tis my heart that loves what they despise.
Wow, I missed
Shakespeare's a
that.
jerk.
Um,
He invented negging.
yeah, but he also invented oversized flattery.
He also
Shall I con-
invented stalking people, according to some of his other sonnets. Shakespeare's sonnets are really creepy, a lot of them.
It's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all.
Yeah, that one's fine.
Hey, Robo.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital life back.
Longing still for that which longer nurseth the disease. I don't know what that even means, but it's probably weird.
Robo, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Nay, for thou art more temperate and lovely. Rough winds
Aw.
do
That's
shake
not
the
how it
darling
goes.
birds of May. Okay.
I want to have
So-
a sit down talk with the developers of Discord and tell them that I don't want stream audio to go over the same device as I want the voice chat audio, like the people's
Well, too
voices,
bad.
the actual voice. How you guys doing?
Good.
I'm alright.
We had some Shakespeare.
Decent.
And
We had
next
some
episode is
genocide.
the Romulans. Balance of Terror with Sarek.
We had some Ukrainian
it's-
genocide references.
It's a huge loss that in Strange New Worlds, when we get the other variant of this episode, they don't have the new Romulan played by the guy who now plays Sarek.
So
Totally should have done that.
that would have been cool. There's a cardinal
It
outside
would
my
have been a
window.
fun reference.
Isn't that good luck?
Potentially confusing.
Have a cardinal outside
Very
your
nice.
window.
Very nice.
What?
Isn't that good luck to have a cardinal outside your window? A bird, cardinal.
Sure. Press
That
play
species
in
of bird.
3, 2, 1, play.
That
Not
episode
like
made me
a
want
Roman
to learn.
Catholic
Yeah,
officiant.
the bishop. But
Well, the bishop is a bishop, and the cardinal is a cardinal. They're like two different. It's like saying general or lieutenant. You know, like they're two
We're
different.
in.
the most solemn duty of every Starfleet captain.
So
to the
this is the ship's built-in chapel, but it's not like a cross. That's some weird tree symbol.
It's a
or
Christmas tree
fern.
with light.
It's a all-face chapel.
But there's a cross in the pulpit. And as I just watched the Who Mourns for Adonais episode, and as Ryan pointed out, Kirk says, "We don't need gods. So the one suffices for us."
But also at the same time, they're not religious,
At all.
even though don't worry about it.
We get a Japanese Shinto wedding on TNG, so that's how religious we are.
I got a question for you guys.
Mhm.
So, some of the folks watching or participating might be too young to remember, but shortly after 9/11,
Heelys? God, why? This is not going to go anywhere good.
no, this is fine. I promise, this is fine. So, they formed this 9/11 Memorial Committee, and they were developing what the memorial was going to look like and how they were going to build it. And they were going to have a cross made out of
The
steel beams from
the wreckage.
the wreckage, the rubble of the towers. And the American Atheists Association, I think, American Atheists, whatever, they sued the commission because they said, you shouldn't use public funds to build any type of religious iconography like at the monument. So it should be, a non-religious
Also,
monument,
kind of
right?
sketchy to honor people who may or may not have
Yeah.
been Christian with a cross.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I can't remember the guy's name who was like the head of the American Atheists group at the
Mhm.
time, but
Is that the tide goes in, tide goes out guy?
no, I don't know. No, definitely not. So
Dawkins?
I'll have to look it up. I want to say it's something Silverman, but anyway, Jon Stewart on the Daily Show, he was just laying into this guy. He was
David
like
Silverman.
lambasting him. Thank you.
And he is the
he
tide
was,
goes in, tide goes out guy.
Okay, so we're both right.
Yes. Go on.
John
So
Stewart
he's like laying into him on his show, and he's making fun of him. He's like, oh yeah, the American Atheists logo is an atom, so they're gonna, as a compromise, they're gonna build a giant atom, but it's gonna be made out of tiny crosses, because he's like saying like, oh, everything at the monument is made out of atoms, and blah, blah. He was just like laying into this guy and making fun of him. That he was stupid for suing
Hang
him
on,
and stuff.
what's the relevance of this to Star Trek?
Well, we have an
Let's
on-planet
skip ahead to
on
that part.
chapel on the Enterprise.
Meanwhile,
hence
Jon
we
Stewart
have a
was
cross for a 9/11
a chairman on the commission for the memorial. I'm like, isn't that a conflict of interest where there's pending litigation against you,
Yes.
and you have a television show and you're roasting the guy? Like, it made me lose
This
all
doesn't have
respect
anything
for
to do
Jon
with Star
Stewart.
Trek, does it?
Well, we were
It was
talking about
related to the
having a
future idea of religion. How do
Well,
we
they have
balance?
what we have done already in this episode is that you have done in the start of it. They did the lighting on Kirk's eyes right from the very beginning, which must be interesting to look into as from the actor's perspective. Just
Mhm.
having a light beaming on your eyes.
Mm-hmm. This
Ooh.
episode,
A map that's very clearly not paper. I don't know what you're talking about. That's not just a printout.
could someone explain to me what Strange New Worlds did differently? Was it alternate universe that we did for this errand of
And
mercy?
it was
Yeah.
well, it was an alternate timeline.
Okay.
Where Captain... It was just the same episode, same situation, except Captain Pike was in command.
And I like that because I didn't realize it, but it was from this episode they go parallel because Kirk can't go into the neutral zone. So Ensign Mount Pike does the same thing.
What they did do very nicely, and I'll say when it's actually mentioned by Spock, is they changed something to make it more scientifically accurate.
In Strange New Worlds?
Yes.
What did they change?
I'll explain in a minute.
Don't keep it to yourself, you monster.
There's a lot of suspense in this episode. We should let the suspense play out.
I mean, this episode is all suspense. Very little actually happens. It's just all suspense.
So
the balance of terror around balance of terror.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting a submarine episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Basically,
Much like
it's
the Deep Space Nine Starship Down.
the hunt for Red October.
Crimson Tide, U571, K19.
Yeah.
Das Boot.
Yeah.
A lot of these lines get reused in Prodigy for, that one episode.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so U-boat warfare was pretty terrifying for the Allies. I mean, the British always had a great submarine fleet, but
Hang on, you get 10 seconds for World War II.
I'm done. I remember the rule. I think I've been good. I was good about
Space War.
I was good about all the genocides the last episode, right?
That was it was a little much.
I
Definitely
tried
a
to
little
keep
much.
Okay, 10 seconds.
But here's a complaint I have about Star Trek and most sci-fi in general. He just said interspace war, that's fine. A lot of time people say intergalactic, especially in Star Wars. Intergalactic war. It's not intergalactic. That means between two different galaxies.
Right.
It's one galaxy.
Well,
And
it's intragalactic.
Or just interstellar.
No, because interstellar isn't actually technically true. That I mean, two different star systems at war.
Well, I mean, between star
happens.
systems. Between star systems, which would work.
Yeah.
But yeah, intergalactic would mean between galaxies, which is not
really
correct.
what they should call it is a Star War.
Well, here's a funny thing to remember, though. The Milky Way galaxy was only discovered.
They had to get there first, so they took a Star Trek, The
Milky Way galaxy was only discovered in 1927, and then we discovered. Well, I'm just saying
the phrasing of that, because it's in the sky. You can just look at it.
Yeah, no, they had Hera's breast. They thought it was drops of Hera's breast, the ancient Greeks, so that's why we called it the Milky Way. But we didn't realize we lived in a spiral-shaped galaxy until 1927, and then it took another decade to realize that our galaxy is one of thousands, then millions, then billions. So
that's still long before 1966.
Maybe cross out. Do we have billions of galaxies? Right.
I would quantify more as trillions.
Okay.
Or quadrillion. There's a lot.
There's a lot. I don't have to think about how many stars there are.
And specifically trillions within the observable universe, which is very much not the entire universe.
Yeah.
Aren't most points of light in the night sky actually distant galaxies
no.
and not necessarily
all the points
stars?
of light we can see are stars within a few hundred light years or a few thousand. You can see some stuff further out. You can see Andromeda galaxy a little bit as a smudge, but not really. The
Another
99.999% of the stars you can see are stars in our galaxy that are very close to us.
yeah.
Which
There's
is
only
why
about
they're also
5,000.
not dead. So if you look at the night sky and someone tells you, "Oh, it's sad to think they're actually secretly dead," no, they're not. They're fine.
Yeah.
Right, and there's only about 5 or 6,000 stars we can visibly see in the night sky.
Yep.
And so
An interesting difference in the Strange New Worlds episode is the phaser control room isn't referenced at all.
But my point in saying the 1927 thing was that people may have confused intergalactic and interstellar because, like, even the idea of galaxies was like less than 40 years old.
Well, I guess my eyes just built different because I can see distant galaxies in the night sky. No,
You can see like one. Well, unless you're in the southern
my
hemisphere, you might be able to see the Magellanic Clouds. I've never been there to look.
Yeah.
my cornea has a 350-meter radius. So yeah,
Okay.
Most of these lines are identical between the two episodes.
it's really hard to get
Except
glasses
in Strange New Worlds,
contacts.
they didn't just replay the lines, they had the new actor do them because we
Yes.
had the actual visual. We saw the guy giving the lines
Yeah.
and his space station blowing up around him. Here we just get the last part. In Strange New Worlds, we got the whole thing. Yeah, still deflectors, still no mention of shields.
No, I think is it shields in Strange New Worlds? Did they change that?
I don't remember.
So
I will
something
guess they changed it to shields
I'm
because
sure they retconned it to fix it.
something that was retconned was we didn't even know what Romulans were, and I think even Spock didn't know what Romulans were really at this point. And then later, obviously, we have
No,
them in Strange New
Vulcans
Worlds.
No.
knew what Romulans were. They just kept it a secret because they didn't want to want
Some Vulcans
humans
did.
to not trust.
Some Vulcans did. Spock doesn't. What Spock knows
My
doesn't
God.
change between the two
that's
episodes.
the same model as they get in Enterprise.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Enterprise not having the same design is a bit silly because they say. Well, actually,
is
I
the same
suppose it doesn't
design.
necessarily.
It's totally the same design. What do you mean?
Because they don't recognize it, and they would otherwise recognize the ship immediately.
Ah.
So
Wait,
Enterprise
don't
having
they
the same
know
design.
it's Romulans? No?
No, they don't know it's Romulans. It's a whole debate of it. Are they Romulans? Almost certainly, but there's no actual evidence at the moment.
Ah, it might be Klingons. We know the Klingons and Romulans share ship designs.
That was because they only had one ship. Model.
Oh no, not
production.
Outpost 4. So there's a lot of lines here that may or may not be canon. Or we might be able, we can like headcanon justifications. Like they talk about how they developed cloaking, even though they had cloaking before. But now the question is like, oh, they overcame the limitations of cloaking.
Yeah. So the difference in the Strange New Worlds episode is that they talk about gravitational lensing, which means that you can actually see it against the background stars, and that is actually the ship might be a bit small for it to really work, but this is using advanced sensors, so
They
it's
do specifically say
justifiable.
micro lensing, if that helps.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about how the light bends and how they fix that problem.
It would have a slight impact on it. It's just you'd need very, very good sensors to actually detect it.
Yeah, I'm doubtful that would be significant enough to notice, but you know, it's fine.
I mean, it is also moving at the same time, so it would have a different effect over time.
I know we don't have the usual cast of suspects here, but I just want the viewers to imagine just how pedantic we're being about this episode, and then imagine playing Dungeons and Dragons with these guys.
I mean,
Well, I have now finished Baldur's Gate 3, so now I'm available for multiplayer games, except I'm not because Starfield's coming out and I'm going to devote all my time to that. But
Well, I mean, we're so pedantic about little details in this episode that really don't matter,
important.
and we
Details do
ultimately
matter.
know why they are the way they are. We're just trying to create headcanon to fit it into the larger
It's
universe.
fun.
it is fun. Thank you, Osama.
It's fun, but it doesn't change anything.
That's very true, but like that's what we're here to do.
What do you? I mean,
What do you
like
want me to do?
this
Just
is
recap
one
exactly
fair.
of
what's happening in the
the most
episode.
classic and brilliant episodes.
Sulu has just stated he agrees.
It-
Sulu recommends that all decks maintain security alert.
In the TNG episode Neutral Zone, when the Romulans say "We are back," like it builds up on all of the suspense.
Not just the Romans, when Gul Dukat says we are back.
No, but what I'm saying is though, like it establishes the Romulans as a shady empire, and it gives us enough material for like 4 shows and a movie.
No, don't do it, Kirk.
It's such an iconic episode.
Yes.
So, out of all the TNG movies, which movie do you think is the weakest?
Well, that's a
They all have weak
spiteful
points,
question.
Unfortunately.
What do you have against the TNG movies?
Well, I think
It's hard to translate.
I
TV
like
shows to
Generations is good.
Sorry.
I think First Contact is the peak. I think Insurrection is not good. And
But
then
do you think
Nemesis was okay.
Do you think that Spock is particularly amused because it's his father?
We don't know that's his father yet.
I know that it's his father.
It's the same actor.
Oh look, there's space racism because that guy can't take his eyes off Spock because he's like the most racist character. He's like, he looks just like you.
Why do you look so angry, Mr. Styles? Calm down.
Like he's burning a hole through his head, through his stare.
Speaking of burning a hole, that expression, why does Data not have laser eyes?
Mhm.
That would have been awesome.
I think he had enough superhuman strength, speed.
Whenever they play those random signals in the background for Uhura to decode, I'm always listening to hear, does it sound like sped up speech? Because a lot of the time it is. But that, I think, is just random computer noise.
Leave any bigotry in your waters.
Is this Star Trek getting woke?
Didn't somebody like go back and slow it down so you could understand what was being said and something?
I mean, I've done that. But that particular thing, I don't think that was talking. That was just beeping.
So
I did
should we-
discover that in the Voyager episode with the really fast planet, there's a scene where the aliens are taking off in their first spaceship and they lose communication with mission control, and there's a really sped up message. And that message is the sound director talking about how much he loves his daughter sped up.
Mm. So
Did you
how
slow
come
it
the
down?
Romulans
Hear it?
are allowed to cross the neutral zone, but the Federation isn't?
They're not.
What do you mean? I mean,
It's
what
just
are
the
they doing right
Federation a
now?
bit timid.
The
What are they doing
Federation
right
are cowards.
What are they doing right now?
It's not that the Romans are allowed to cross the neutral zone. It's just that the Federation
doing
won't
it.
do anything about it.
Right. And they're trying to avoid a war. So technically they could be like, this is war, this is an act of war, and now war has begun.
Look, if we just
But they're
give the
trying to avoid
Romulans a
it.
few star systems, they'll probably go away.
Well, yeah. The policy of appeasement has always worked everywhere
know-
in history.
I gotta say though, I really love that we watch Enterprise first in a way because
'Cause it's
Enterprise is
awesome.
yes,
Yes.
and Enterprise establishes that the Romulans were really trying to prevent the creation of a Federation from the beginning, and that they would have taken over the galaxy if Earth had not united the other planets.
Yeah.
Dude, Well, Strange New World spoiler, but that whole
Strange New
episode.
Worlds is no longer
thing,
spoiler protected, so go for it.
the time traveling Romulan. That was a very Quantum Leap-esque plot, though. Being sent back to exactly that point in time.
Yeah.
Although I guess it was by
stuck
design.
there until you changed it.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of
not allowed
Captain
to
Archer
return.
being sent to 1944 Chicago, New York, wherever. Doesn't matter. Exactly the point in history to prevent the alien reptiles from releasing a bioweapon.
Wait, no, those are the vampire. Those are the vampire people, not the reptiles.
No, that happened twice.
No,
okay,
they're a different species.
Yeah, there's the vampire people who are trying to just build a time machine, and they're helping the Nazis, because of course they are. Yes. And then there's an episode where they go back in Carpenter Street, where it's the Xindi reptilians trying to build a bioweapon.
Yeah. That's Detroit. They're in Detroit, and it's supposed to be like Detroit. The 70s, not the 40s.
Okay.
It all blends together.
It's like what is it? Like the 90s, the 70s, the 80s? I don't know. Maybe it's the 90s.
It's all the past. It's
but it's like
fine.
It's not the 40s.
All right.
It's supposed to be Detroit, and it's very clearly not Detroit. But I guess you'd only know if you're either from Detroit or from where they filmed it.
When we watched that together, we were pointing out like, oh yeah, that's that mountain next to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So I want to say Mark Leonard is an amazing actor. What he brought to this show and TNG, when he died, he obviously died before Leonard Nimoy. I was so sad. It hit me just as hard as Leonard Nimoy dying.
They simplify the plot a little bit with the Romulans in that I don't think the guy behind him there exists in the Strange New Worlds episode. At least he's not mentioned.
Wait, what? What's not mentioned?
The respectable
the
Romulan
guy the guy talking to the captain.
Oh yeah, he gets replaced with the really angry Romulan who just wants to murder people. So they have someone standing in for his role, but it's not exactly the same.
Something really cool. This not Sarek and Kirk, they developed this.
We know who he is.
Mark Leonard Romulan. He has such a healthy respect for Kirk. At the end, he's like, we could have been friends at another point. And he thinks just like me. He respects him as a tactician.
And then respects Pike as a negotiator.
Unfortunately for Pike, the correct option was, in fact, murder. Romulans don't want peaceful coexistence. Wow, Spock must be really strong.
No, that's how bad the Romulan weapon was.
Yes.
Isn't it a prototype weapon, and you have to destroy it so they can't build any more?
Because clearly they don't have the blueprints and the ability to make something.
Yes,
right, exactly. Like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You have to sabotage it in a way that makes them believe that it's a faulty design and start from scratch.
So
that's the correct way to do it.
In the Korean demilitarized zone, that is there so because the Korean War never officially ended, but there's also millions of mines on each side in case somebody did march. Millions on each side in case somebody did decide to cross. And that's the other thing that stops
people do cross. It happens.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying there's an army of, recently. If there's if there's an army of 100,000 people crossing, that's what's stopping them. Is what I'm saying. A real war.
Well,
so why doesn't the Federation and the Romulans do that? Just mine the neutral zone.
Dude, do you know how big space is? Where are you going to get all those mines? Jesus.
Do you understand? Do you understand the Z-axis? So, like, even right now on Earth, in the DMZ that you described, the Korean DMZ, there were tunnels. You know, tunnels. They were exploiting the Z-axis on Earth. You think that they won't exploit the Z-axis in space,
Which
where
is
it's
practically
in
infinite in
theory,
space.
build a
Yeah.
sphere
requires
around
no
the
digging?
Romulan Empire.
All right, but
We're
DS9
going to
had a
build a
minefield.
sphere around the Romulan Empire,
That's
and
because
we're
there was a
going to
limited
make
set
the
access.
Romulans pay for it.
DS9 had a minefield, so there's no reason to
DS9
act
had a
like
minefield around one specific strategic choke
They
point.
and it was a sphere. It was a sphere around the wormhole,
Yeah.
And it still didn't make any sense.
and it was self-replicating.
Which doesn't, that's not,
Yeah.
unless it was replenished by the prophets.
Well,
only way
the
that
idea was given
happens.
to him by the prophets, and they supplied the matter for the mines.
But it just physically doesn't make
You
sense.
just- you
That's
just
not how
give-
matter works.
You give the mines enough matter to produce.
One other
But a
mine,
thing of its-
and
No.
then
The thing of its own size can't produce the same thing of its own size. There's no way.
Hold on a second.
Physically construct
It's like a
that.
transporter buffer. You still need a matter storage. Yeah, that breaks transporters. Like if we
look,
start
just don't
picking
worry
this
about
apart.
it. The mines work very well. Thanks for asking.
yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
So we do have invisibility screens today. What it does is it bends light around the object, so you see like the stuff around it.
Yeah, not, and that's not.
Invisibility.
I mean, that would be invisibility, but I'm not convinced we really have something that works well.
Hmm.
I wonder what Gene would think of the redoing of this episode 60 years later, or almost 60 years later.
Hmm. I think he'd be really impressed because they did a great job with that episode.
Yeah.
Ooh, I do like that comment. That's a nice comment.
I'm kind of reminded by Data's first officer when he's given command of the ship when they do a safety net around the Romulan fleet, and the guy's like, "I don't trust you to be a captain because you're an android," and Data's like, "You're gonna do your duty whether you like it or not."
Data executes his command program that he uses. Oh, look. I can't take the Romulans seriously. They're wearing watermelon spray painted silver. What are they doing? What are the costume
nice.
design? Come on.
It's really nice.
Look,
Is it? They
man.
just look silly.
Pink used to be a warrior's color.
It's not the pink, it's the shape of the helmet. It looks
Okay.
dumb.
The helmet was cheaper than ears. Okay.
Look, this is
He has very feminine look there. That makeup.
the
I think
camera.
they went a little heavy-handed with the lip, whatever they put on his lip.
It's called lipstick.
I didn't want to say lipstick because it was probably like a powder or something that they applied with a brush.
You know, when the bigotry of Spock, which is like a central theme to this episode.
Towards Spock.
Yeah.
The bigotry of Spock.
That's right,
Star
bigotry-
Trek 7. The bigotry
Sorry.
of Spock.
Yeah,
It's
thank
just
you.
Spock. It's just Spock using racial epithets for different species the whole
I
time.
mean, Spock is kind
Thank you,
of
Brad.
racist toward humans.
No, you're right. I meant
Well,
towards
with good
Spock,
reason.
bigotry towards Spock. I did not mean bigotry of Spock.
The bigotry of
um,
Spock.
Thank you,
The
Ryan.
Wrath of Khan.
So
No, I love it. It was a happy
most-
accident because it gave us.
I mean, I remember reading that World War I was the first time most Americans actually left their towns. We didn't really have a national identity. It was more around people you knew in the neighborhood you knew. And then World War II obviously brought like the races together, which we didn't have much of. So, you know, the idea of like do your job.
brought the races together, right? As we said, races.
It's the first time we had military units. with
I
different-
heard. Did you hear what I heard, Soma? Because I heard it brought
Yes.
the races
Well, I
together.
can understand
Yeah.
that you heard it.
All right,
Anyway,
sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
No, that was it. My 10 seconds are over.
This is a new kind of phaser they're implementing just for this episode that explodes. fascinating.
It's airbrush shells. It's fine.
What shells?
I
It's a
mean-
laser.
Sorry, I'm being a little hard on you, your review.
No, I mean,
No.
we should speak
No, I'm-
precisely and clearly.
I'm thinking about Nemesis again and how a lot of it is just a space battle, but it reminds me of sort of like the second Lord of the Rings movie where half of the movie is Helm's Deep. Like we don't need that much battle.
We
Well,
do, right?
Calm
We
down,
so-
we
do.
get it.
We
You-
kind of do.
They were trying to do a submarine battle movie, right? They were trying to make Next Generation Wrath of Khan, right? And they didn't. I don't know. It doesn't get the attention right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like
This fireball is pretty crazy, by the way. We never see it in subsequent Trek incarnations, but
What?
the plasma
Surely the
torpedo.
Enterprise can just turn slightly to the left.
It's kind of true.
Well,
We don't
I
need
think
to
going
convince the Romans
forward,
there's a design flaw. There's clearly just this weapon's stupid. That's why it's a design flaw. Just turn. Unless
So,
it's like a plasma
they-
pistol. Does it track?
well, it's a torpedo, so I assume it has a certain level of tracking.
Just looks like an energy ball.
But this
to
is
me.
it's a plasma. It's supposed to be a plasma torpedo, and in TNG and Deep Space Nine, the Romulans have plasma torpedoes. For some reason, they're not as powerful as this, or something, or shields have become way more powerful.
I mean, Esri does say the projectile weapons are like inefficient or something.
Why is Yeoman Rand leaning on Captain Kirk?
Because we're all about to die, and women.
Well,
need
all
protection.
torpedoes are projectile weapons, so
True,
and
true.
they're still used.
True. Although technically, aren't photon torpedoes and quantum torpedoes like they rip the fabric of space or something?
Well,
Is that right?
so photon torpedoes are antimatter warhead. So you can adjust the yield. It's basically an antimatter bomb, right?
Mhm.
And a quantum torpedo. So like that's like a
A
fission
quantum
bomb. So the
torpedo
photon
is
torpedo is
blue.
equivalent of a fission bomb.
Yeah.
And quantum torpedoes use a photon torpedo as a detonator, just like
Charge.
fusion bombs use a fission bomb as a detonator, and
Mhm.
quantum torpedoes collapse a 12th dimensional superstring and create a tiny universe.
Yeah,
So,
so
it's a
that's
miniature Big Bang.
All
It's
of
not
that
re-
nonsense. You mean?
it's not a projectile. It's a quantum, but the superstring.
So
Yada
It makes
yada
me
yada.
wonder,
Blue
ev-
make big boom.
it makes me
Yada,
wonder
yada,
every time they use a
techno
quantum
travel for-
torpedo.
Explosion.
Every time they use a quantum torpedo, does it create a tiny little universe where it exploded?
Well,
Sure, why
And if it
not?
creates a tiny little universe, what are the
Their stupid
ethical
helmets.
implications?
Every time I see the Romulans, all I see is the helmet. Ooh, they're ventilated in the front for your forehead sweat.
I also
Nice.
really like that they're called
They've been
Centurions.
interesting design in the Strange New Worlds episode, I think.
I don't remember what they look
different.
like. Let me.
They look great. But also Centurions and Praetor. You gotta love the ancient Roman motif for Romulans. Centurions is a great word to know. People don't know it.
Centurion.
Yeah, the
Who doesn't
cartoon.
know what centurions are? Everybody knows about the Roman Empire.
Yeah, but they don't use it
But why are the
casually.
Romulans only like half Roman?
Yeah.
Half of their stuff uses Roman Empire terms. Half of their stuff is just like standard United States English.
And I love the
Because
Because
they
chainmail.
this is a
Strange
show
New
made
Worlds
in the United
helmets.
States to be watched in the United States.
But what I also see, if the Romulans have Remans, which live on the moon, and the Andorians have the Anar, who live on that icy moon, when are we gonna get our moon people offshoot?
We,
Well,
They
we do have moon
repurposed that
people.
line for Strange New Worlds, where it's at that distance, but for the other ship. So Turkish
They call them, what do they call them? Terra Luna? Lunar schooners? Something like
They
that?
have
I don't
they
know.
have
remember
lunar
the term lunar
colonies
schooners.
in Trek, but I just
Yeah,
want to say
that was
I
in
want
Deep Space Nine.
us to be evolved differently, like because they live on the dark side or something, or in lower gravity. They should be taller.
They have that in The Expanse.
Yes,
They sort of have that. I mean, they
The
discuss
Belters.
it, and they have the one guy, but then they realize it was
Belters.
going to cost too much for special effects, so the Belters just look like regular people instead of
Well,
being
they
all
hire
spindly.
tall actors rather than
Well, they had the one guy that they tortured at the beginning of the series, and he
Yeah,
was really tall and skinny. But then, like after that, they just used whoever.
correct. But I'm saying they hire taller people for that. If you notice.
This isn't really related, but I have a question about how the ship works. What is the point of the tactical officer if the weapons are actually fired from some other room?
Yeah,
He
that's what the
tells them
change in
to do it.
strategy was.
He tells
What
them.
does he
He pushes a
do?
button, and then it makes a light up on their console, and then they push a button.
It just seems okay.
It's like, couldn't you just connect the light from his button to directly to the button that in their console, or just skip that all together and have his button connected directly to the phasers or the weapons? You could, but you see, it's a union protected job, so you can't.
Just like the
His
navigator
job
and
is
the
to tell the
helmsman.
guy to push the button.
Navigator and
And
helmsman. Navigator lays the course, and helm goes along the course.
if you try and take that job away, they're going to be upset with you.
Why? Because they're losing all their $0 of pay?
So Star Trek 6, of course, has this parallel where General Chang is like trying to keep his ship together. And of course Wrath of Khan too, because Khan is like ambushing the Enterprise with the Reliant. It's a battle of wits really between Khan and Kirk in the whole Star Trek 2.
It was a trick.
The trap.
Wait, I think Kirk just said sensor probes.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do
I
that.
mean,
That's just
Spock is
bugging.
mostly the one who's a sensor. But William Shatner is also a Shakespearean actor, and he's Canadian. So maybe the British pronunciation would be more native to him.
William Shatner, just in
Allure.
general, mispronounces a lot of stuff. He's not really good at the words.
He does not words good.
Okay.
You know that one time someone has mind powers so they can move stuff with their mind? Or as Kirk calls it, telekinesis?
Telekinesis.
They use their telekinesis... I can't even say it. They use their telekinesis to sabotage the ship.
Yes.
Sabotage.
You say sabotage. I say sabotage.
It must be part of some elaborate trick or treat.
Remember when?
Nobody says that, Kirk.
The was it Undiscovered Country? That officer was explaining the word sabotage.
Right. Valeris. 400 years ago, workers flung their wooden clawed shoes into the machinery.
But then they had to walk home barefoot. Was it worth it?
Hence the word sabotage.
I mean, have you ever worked at a really shitty factory job?
No, but I also don't have wooden shoes.
I think that if you had either of those things, you would understand.
Wooden shoes are so comfortable. Actually,
doesn't sound comfortable.
Well,
no. So they're carved personally to
Do
you.
they at least have soles that are like rubber or something?
No,
or not soles, the insoles.
No, but when they're made from a soft wood and they're carved just for your feet, you just slip onto them. The fact that they're perfectly shaped for your feet is what keeps them on your feet. You don't even need to tie the heel. I'll upload it. But Danish clogs I really want a pair now because during the pandemic when I was home, my feet got spread out for 18 months. And then when I had to wear shoes again to go to work, my feet like hurt from being squished into something that's not
what you should have been doing is you should have been wearing foot binders the whole time.
Are you sure you didn't just like put on weight?
That too.
Because you might just need another size up in shoes.
Ripperoni.
No, but you know your feet are naturally supposed to be broad, and then shoes make all your toes narrow and cramped into a small corner.
Dude, you need bigger shoes. I think you're wearing shoes wrong. They make different sizes.
So, all right, I'm looking for a CAD program that isn't
Google SketchUp.
cloud-based, that's free,
Google SketchUp.
that's cloud-based.
Solved it. Yeah, it's cloud-based.
I just said I want
Interesting here.
a
McCoy
free
says,
CAD program that is not cloud-based.
Google SketchUp desktop version.
yeah. Anyway,
Is there such a
McCoy
thing?
says
There
the
used to be.
one named Kurt, which means Kurt's brother doesn't exist yet.
Hmm.
Oh my, talk about pedantic language, my goodness.
It's interesting in the behind the scenes of the story.
Sam Kirk doesn't matter anyway, it's just Bill again.
Wow, they didn't. Oh, look, see over here, this guy
Romulan
assumes
sabotage.
Spock is purposely trying to mess up the ship.
Why are they whispering? There's no sound in space. Come on.
Yes. The reason why that one works is that was the sensor.
They're both doing this silent thing, silent submarine.
Wait, wasn't that lieutenant standing up somewhere else a second ago?
Yeah, he sat back down.
So these phasers have almost no sound in space,
I think they used
Yeah.
but they're
torpedoes.
still whispering. The people who wrote this episode clearly know that there's no sound in space. Or at least the people who did the remaster, I guess.
Yeah, but if they didn't put sound effects, people would be like, "What's happening?" Or isn't there any sound effects?
No, my point is that they didn't put many sound effects for the phasers. It was nearly dead silent in the space shot and got really loud in the interior shot. But they're still
Old
whispering.
style nuclear warheads.
Like nuclear
He's
energy is
creating a
primitive.
shrimp.
Like they say before, nuclear
It's
weapons are
interesting that-
primitive.
Yeah. It's interesting that he says nuclear warheads for self-destruction, and later on in TNG, obviously it's a different ship, they have unstable warp engines, which are black holes or something like that, and
Mhm.
then they destroy themselves quite easily with those.
Why does he have to specify point blank? Like, if it's
Just
point
to
blank, it's
Get around the guy
point blank.
saying, "Are you sure, sir? It's right in front of us."
Yeah.
Still can't take them seriously. They still look like they're wearing melons.
So I learned that it's terrifying to die in a tank because like once the weapon hits you, like you can't escape and you're basically locked in an oven and everybody burns up inside, you and your four buddies. Submarines are just as bad. The whole submarine gets crushed and you all die. So they're both trying to like wound each other and limp their way home without getting the whole crushed like an aluminum can thing.
Well, I don't know.
But it sucks to be on a submarine. Like,
What part of it sucks? Does the part about sharing a bed with two other people suck, or the part about there being no space for
That's the-
anything?
You don't even get
Or
to cuddle. They
the smell.
you leave
Or,
the bunk, then they get in. There's no.
Well,
What's
work-
the point?
Now,
you get to cuddle with the residual body heat.
in
you
Strange
get-
New Worlds canon, this is interesting. I know Uhura completely failed at fire. Well, she didn't actually fail at firing the weapons, to be quite honest. But Uhura was in phaser control for a bit, technically, and she doesn't fly the ship in that point. So that's a bit of an interesting point.
I forgot about that.
Wait, what? Uhura was in phaser control, but she doesn't fly the ship yet? What?
No, as in Uhura here has been said that she flew the ship at some point. She's got some piloting experience.
Ah.
But I don't recall if we've seen that in Strange New Worlds. But the point is that she has had some firing of the phases experience. But I suppose it's only a short time, whereas Tomlinson might have had longer.
Why does Sarek look so sad?
So I think this is the Romulan flagship, and the Enterprise is
Yes.
the Federation flagship. So if either one is destroyed, it does mean war.
Except it doesn't, though. The war, as Strange New Worlds shows, comes when the flagship is not destroyed, because that means the Federation is weak.
That was a slur. Racial slur.
I mean, it wasn't, but it was still intended as... I was going to say dehumanizing, but that would have been racist.
Yeah.
Devulcanizing, but that's also a
Devulcanizing.
term in our language.
That's what you do
Well,
with your tires. Vulcanized rubber.
Yeah.
So, all right, here's a fun fact. Self-sealing fuel tanks for
Oh, I thought you were gonna say
warplanes
stem bolts.
were created by putting vulcanized rubber on the inside, which is non-reactive to gasoline, and then non-vulcanized natural rubber on the outside. And essentially, when the fuel tank gets penetrated by a bullet, the gasoline starts to leak out, and it reacts with the non-vulcanized rubber, which then swells up and seals the hole.
And the non-vulcanized blocks the other thing from swelling and coming inside.
What?
You said the
non-vulcanized
non-vulcanized
rubber
rubber
is
was
what
on the
reacts with the
inside.
gasoline. No, the
Right.
non-vulcanized rubber is on the outside. The vulcanized
Outside,
rubber
right.
is on the inside
Thanks.
because that's where the gasoline is. Fuel. Because aviation fuel, well, at the time, all aviation fuel was gasoline until you get to jets, and then they had something more like kerosene.
At what point do we switch to deuterium?
Very soon.
Yeah, very soon.
So
It's like
Toyota
20
has a
years?
hydrogen car right now.
Now that's interesting.
here's-
And it's showing the versatility of the console design. Uhura hailed them from the helmsman station.
Mm.
Here's a question I want to propose a thought experiment. So right now, so much of our economy and society is driven by the sale of energy. What's going to happen, because we've had all these fusion breakthroughs recently,
Yes.
what's going to happen when they scale up fusion and we just have free energy? We have energy that's so cheap that it's going to be more cost effective
Well,
to give it away than it's going to
surely
be
what's
charged.
going to
might
happen is
actually become a
everybody's
little
gonna
bit
get-
more.
Everybody's
One
gonna get
person at a
along. We're
time,
gonna have a
please.
post-scarcity future.
No, okay, Ryan, could you say that again, please?
Everyone's gonna get along. We're gonna have a post-scarcity utopia. It's gonna be lovely.
Okay, I'm a little
Okay,
bit more
and
realistic
Soma?
than that. The governments might be a little bit less corrupt because a large portion of corruption is from the oil industry.
I think it's going to cause the collapse of our society because, you can't just give everything away all the time.
It'll be fine. Don't
And
worry
without
about it.
without the push and pull of supply and demand,
Robo,
I
don't
think
worry
things are
about
gonna
it.
go
You're not gonna
sideways.
live to see it.
Yeah, it'll be right
If I have
after we're
anything to
gone.
say about it.
Right? Good luck. Good luck.
So yeah, combined with the AI revolution, we're gonna solve.
That's the other thing.
We're
All
gonna
those jobs are gonna go away from AI
all diseases are gonna be cured, and we'll have free energy. What's the
Well-
problem? What's the problem?
So I don't know if all diseases will be cured. I think there may already be cures for much of them, but they're being suppressed because, you can't have the plebs living to 150 years old.
Okay, so we mentioned the chapel here. I noticed in Star Trek 2 when Spock dies, they bury him and Scotty's playing the bagpipes to Amazing Grace, a Christian song. So we're still a little Christianized in the future, just a little bit.
maybe it's tradition. Maybe it's like naval tradition as opposed to like a religious thing at that point. Like, I mean,
There
I'm not
definitely is
religious,
religion in
but
the
I
future.
participate in
Or
Christmas
maybe Kirk is
celebrations
just trying to
because
be. Maybe Kirk's just trying to offend him in death. Because
Yeah.
Kirk does say that his was the most human thing, which Spock would have found very offensive.
Right. And Leonard Nimoy is Jewish, so playing a Christian funeral song is offensive, I feel.
However,
He's playing a
for myself,
character.
as
It's
a
not the same thing.
non-Christian, Amazing Grace is a pretty nice sounding song. It's fine.
Yeah, true. And Scotty playing the bagpipes is a great scene. I gotta tell you.
Because he's Scottish, you get it?
I don't care what he's playing. It's too good.
That can't actually be him playing the bagpipes.
No, it's not. It
unless he's
wasn't.
actually-
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I can't
was a
believe
nice-
we finally got a version of Scotty that's actually Scottish.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Finally
It's
happened.
awesome.
It's kind
We
of
got a-
surprising.
We've walked from Canada to Britain and now finally into Scotland.
No,
to
I mean,
England
you
and
know,
then into Scotland.
our society's finally conscious of like cultural appropriation on a mass
Simon
scale.
Pegg was pretty good, though.
Yeah. I mean, he was coached by his wife.
I assume his wife is Scottish.
I don't remember exactly, but it's either his wife or people his wife knows very well.
Okay, so that episode's done. The last episode sucks. It is shore leave. It doesn't make any sense. They were literally writing it as they were filming.
You know, look,
this episode.
sometimes you get
I wish
heavy
this was the first
episodes with
episode.
like sex and genocide.
It's not
You
that
need
the
a little-
episode is light and casual and silly. It's that they literally didn't know what they were doing.
You need a little bit of Alice in Wonderland going on, you know, to break up the genocide talk.
Okay,
And-
but at least finish writing the episode before you start filming.
Yeah.
You know, we just went through a submarine battle. Come on, let's get
I
some
love
Alice
the
in
Star Trek
Wonderland.
episodes where they go really like Deep Space Nine. We have our really serious war arc, and then they just go do a casino heist for fun. That's great.
Yeah,
But
but at
But
least
they
they finished
knew
the
what
game.
they were
fun as well.
doing.
Okay.
It was
Fair
focused. It had a point.
Okay. I thought you
This
were just being-
episode's just a bunch of random nonsense. This is like, it's an episode that's entirely composed of Family Guy cutaway gags.
But it also became one of the most iconic episodes because, like, what, a
Also, you
rabbit?
should press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Like in commercials to Star Trek marathons, they always had Bones and the rabbit, like in the same shot.
Mhm.
If you're gonna summarize Star Trek, it's gonna be this episode.
Oh, so they go crazy in
it?
this one again.
Randomness, yes. Alien randomness.
Oh, this is such an important scene, though, because it shows the shipping between Kirk and Spock.
And also, the yeoman is doing.
Oh, he's getting a
personal-
massage from the yeoman right there on the bridge in front of
It's not-
everybody.
He just
Yeah, it
had
was
a
supposed to
kink in
be
his spine.
Spock, though. I mean, at least it's not Yeoman Rand this time.
I
At least she
firmly
gets a
believe that
break.
if Star Trek was TOS was made today with the same intentions as it was, maybe not with Gene at the helm, but someone like Gene, because of who Gene was a little bit in regards to that, it would be Kirk and Spock would have a strong romantic interest, not necessarily actually involvement.
They would have kissed at least
My
once. you're right.
favorite
just to check
yeoman
it out.
was the yeoman from The Cage.
Hmm.
I mean, if I had to pick one,
The one
Heidi
who
one?
Captain Pike is a huge jerk to,
yeah.
and she has to call him out.
Do we get a TNG episode like this, right?
Yes, basic, pretty much.
Like I think
Well,
the
it's more
Sherlock
like-
Holmes. I'm sorry, no, not the Sherwood Forest episode is kind of like
Yeah,
this.
to an extent, but they'll have the one which is literally just the Naked Time, but TNG.
Yeah, but that's based on the Naked Now, which has its own parallel.
Yeah.
Okay, where are they right now? Is this Los Angeles?
Yeah, in fact,
You know
this
it is.
this reminded me of the Darmok, the
But
Darmok
where
place.
in Los Angeles? This looks like
know
a
that
different park than usual.
They don't have the money to go very far. Come on.
Plus, if
Well,
you remember right,
is this a different park than usual? I don't recognize this area.
so the
Do you think if they
1960s
came to the studio,
saw a lot
got
of
in costume and had to
developments.
drive their own cars to location?
Yeah, they have location scouts to do all this stuff.
No, I'm saying, do you think that the actors came into the studio, got costume, makeup, props, and got in their own car
Oh
and
no.
drove to the
Oh,
location?
it literally is Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, because McCoy mentioned Alice in Wonderland, therefore it
Ah.
appeared.
And it's also like where no one has gone before when Worf thinks about a Targ and he sees a Targ, and Tasha thinks about a cat. She doesn't think of a cat, but she thinks about her.
McCoy, I vote gun.
Also,
has a
the
gun.
actual Alice is a fair bit older than that.
Was she?
Eh,
Alice is a teenager in the story, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, she's like a
But
7-year-old.
she's reading books and doing things all on her own, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, because children
Are you
never
saying-
read books.
No, as in
Hang on,
she's
Soma.
reading
Or go off and
high-level
do things on their
books,
own.
specifically.
She was
Are you
reading
doing the
math
full Men in
or
Black
logic.
thing
Yeah,
where
it-
you're
it's-
going, those books are way too advanced for her, and you shoot her?
Yeah.
No,
Clearly
it's not-
something's
it's-
going on.
But my point is that
I don't think
the
she was.
reason why she's reading those books in that story is because that's for her age. It is because she's reading the books of that type as that age.
Yeah. She-
It's connected to her age in the story itself rather than
She's
you
written as
saying
a
it's
teenager. If you read the whole Lewis Carroll thing,
Yeah.
she has that maturity level of a teenager. But
Jeez.
Sulu gets a handgun later.
and in fact a fair part of the story is because she's a teenager, she should be a bit older than these
Velma,
imaginations.
I just looked it up.
Yes.
In the sequel to Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, which I didn't know existed, Alice says she's 7.5,
Really? Wow.
which means in original Alice in Wonderland she was a little younger.
Wow, that is actually
Mm.
surprising to me.
Well, children grew up faster back then.
Did they?
Yeah, you had to carry 2
I
buckets
guess
of
if
water.
by
as
grown
soon
up
as you were
faster you
4 years
mean
old.
got sent to the mines sooner.
Yeah.
Trauma. Yeah, trauma and abuse makes you grow up faster.
Well,
It do that. It
Just-
do that.
I like
Get
how
out there
Captain
and-
Kirk described this area as park-like, because it's literally a park.
well, we didn't have Ryza back then, so this was our Ryza planet.
It's the classic
it's
TOS
seven,
thing
yeah.
where we don't... TNG replaced all of these episodes with the holodeck.
Yeah.
No, I suppose.
And Q with the
I only
Sherwood
remember
Forest.
one episode where we actually go to like an actual park, and that's in Deep Space Nine, where Molly falls into a time portal.
Mm. Wow, Spock, that's the problem California's having right now. All these
Clearly,
millionaires.
Spock does not believe in exercise. Oh, fun fact about the rabbit I learned from Alison Pragler's video on this episode, which I highly recommend. Apparently, the dude in the rabbit suit, they sewed his head on, and he freaked out and ripped it off.
Mm. That's why he's looking down the whole time.
Sure.
This is a great line, by the way, because Kirk's like, "And what's next? Did you see Alice?" He's like, "Yeah, I did." And Kirk's like, "Good one, Bones."
So here's the thing: like a lot of Starfleet officers seem very well versed in all sorts of 20th century, 19th century, ancient Earth literature.
The captions on your version were actually wrong there. Blondes should have been with an E on the end.
For a girl, yeah.
Anyway, so then in like Deep Space Nine, they are completely mystified by chewing gum. But in Next Generation, they had Kivos Fajo who knew about chewing gum or bubble gum, and I.
Well, Kivas
Well-
Fajo's a weirdo.
You know, I saw that too in the Who Mourns for Adonais episode. Kirk, the god says, you know,
Nice one, Spock.
what was the joke?
Spot just said that a crewman was becoming irritable, etc., 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 and then Kirk said, "Well, that means that he must go on shore leave because the safety of the ship is at risk." And
What's
then
that
he
crewman's
says,
name?
"Kirk."
Right.
I know. God, what's the other? I know at least one other doctor does the same thing. Is it Bashir?
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So in the Who Mourns for Other Nice episode, the god says Agamemnon and etc. worshipped me, and Kirk knows exactly who Agamemnon is, and I didn't know who Agamemnon was. But I feel like back then people, back then being the 60s, people did know classical literature a little better than we do.
Nowadays, people
Yeah,
have better
I
things to do
just
with their time than read 700-year-old books.
Yeah,
I was
or
probably thinking of the Alice in Wonderland film itself, in which he is a lot older.
Crewman
yeah.
Teller here. I feel this man. He's just trying to do his job. He's trying to do his scans and finish his reports. And this lady's like, "No, we should enjoy the nature." It's like, come on, I've got a
I almost
schedule.
certainly would be doing my scans as well. That's fun to me, discovering new things.
So allegedly, Gene Roddenberry was sitting under one of these trees, furiously rewriting the script as they were filming.
Do you know we can never get scripts done on time? It was like a big
all
problem with
right.
him.
How do I set this file to inches instead of millimeters?
But some of the joke that you left at is, and the other jokes that I've been like with the between Bones and Kirk here about, oh wow, and what's next? Did you see a blonde girl too after seeing
Yeah.
the rabbit? I was watching this making of TNG season 3, 30-minute video, and the guys were saying that Rick Berman hated humor, and so did
Mhm.
Michael Piller, and they didn't know how to do humor in TNG. And TOS had great humor in it, especially those lines that we just laughed at.
Yeah.
It made your belly laugh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm stoic and emotionless as always.
TNG had a very bad relationship to humor, and TOS had a great relationship to it.
But TNG season 1, remember they had that one funny musical cue they played all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever something whimsical happened.
It was the same as the TOS whimsical cue, actually.
And they always played it whenever,
There was
they were trying to be funny. They never succeeded in season 1, but they were trying. I think in season 2 too. I think they got rid of it for season 3.
Yeah, well, the show kind of got a little bit more serious and dark and political after season 3.
My God, someone has. What
So
could it be?
by the way, this is a great running shot. I don't think in any TOS until like Star Trek 2009 do we get this kind of great.
So you know how in Star Trek we keep getting shots of the Vasquez Rocks?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
This apparently is the Vasquez Rocks National Park.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It looks like the Darmok place when you look at the cliff, which is a mine, actually, or a quarry. Behind us, that's where the Darmok alien was.
Sulu, are you not concerned about this? You just found a gun.
Yeah.
He collects guns.
I mean, yes. Why wouldn't you collect guns?
Also,
I
what's
mean,
that lady doing? Is she okay?
She's panting.
She's panting because she was running from Kirk, with Kirk, and they had that great run.
They were running for like
It
10
just in this
seconds.
speed.
Chemical explosion. How primitive.
Be right back.
Okay.
Kirk, if you had seen it, you would know it's not an animal. That's clearly a dude.
A man in a suit, yeah.
Excuse me, Kirk? That's an elaborate trick or treat. Can't believe
You
said
never
it like
get
that.
that kind of running through a forest shot in TNG.
Well, they had to get an additional shot, and with what they had on hand, I suppose, if it was being written at the same time.
There's an old rule of screenwriting though. If there's a gun in the first act, there's gonna be a murder in the second.
Well, I have good news. There's gonna be a murder.
Hmm.
No, Kirk, don't talk about your. Don't do it. Yeah, he's probably not going to show up. This probably isn't going to relate to the rest of the episode. It's
And the
fine. Don't worry
future's
about
not
it.
supposed to have any interpersonal conflict.
But they weren't actual officers at that point, therefore it's okay.
It wasn't between characters on the show.
Oh, but it's okay when Kirk runs into Finnegan because he has Sulu's gun.
Yeah, of course you would, Kirk.
She's 7.
Yes.
Bones is so funny. I have a personal grudge against that rabbit. Yeah, so that's the
Kirk, gun.
frat. That's the frat bro who messed with you at college.
Yeah, you can tell it's just, let's write some random stuff so we get a story.
What a
something
good practical joke. Punching him in the face.
I learned from that season 3 documentary on TNG was that they only got the LOL episode in is because towards the end of the season the studios always press for money, and they want plots that cost less money, and they're also under pressure to get the show done on time, the season, so they'll agree to like more sketch plots. So this too must have been one of those things. All right, it's late in the season, we'll just approve the script.
So I feel like this probably goes without saying, but that actor is not in fact Irish.
Another great running shot when the camera is moving with the actor. You have some
The
good
music
direction.
is interesting here.
I'm just saying, visually, this is a very interesting episode. I know we can mock the plot.
That
I know
spray paint on the tree?
we can mock the acting.
I know, it's not this episode where the plant attacks the people directly. There's another one where it fires some seeds or whatever into the person.
Oh, sure. You believe McCoy's giant rabbit is real, but not just a dude with a knife?
And your old college bully, Finnegan, can come back.
But this is a woman seeing it, therefore.
Therefore, women are hysterical.
Everybody here is armed. Why don't people really need to start blasting? She has a gun, right? Everybody else has a gun. Kirk even has 2.
I don't know. I'm really glad I've never met any fictional characters in my life.
Not sure how you would go about doing that, but okay.
I would have to check myself into a hospital.
My god, there's
Invisible
radio?
string. Antenna. On invisible string.
The question on that the first time, I think it would have been better if they kept the main pole between the two, between Kirk and McCoy, but it didn't really stay there.
You can tell
Those
it's so
plants look
hot.
a little aggressive. Kirk, Are you okay? Did you forget that one of your crewmen is missing because you saw a pretty tower?
He was looking for Sulu.
Well, he's having a good time now. It's probably fine.
It's a shore leave episode.
He'll go and find the missing crewman when he's back on duty. For now, we'll just chill.
DS9 Rise episodes were like this too. It's like a murder happened. I'm on vacation.
You mean that time Worf becomes a domestic terrorist?
Yeah, just a local militia member.
Which is to say, a domestic terrorist.
Well, just don't let the feds on our land, and we don't have any problems. What?
Kirk, do you maybe want to use the gun?
Yeah.
He's turned on woman. Always works.
I don't think he's gonna say no if a woman just comes up to him and starts kissing his cheek.
He should probably say no. Something's clearly going on here.
He just has this magnetism.
I'm seriously wondering if this planet is like affecting their brain chemistry because they're being very nonchalant.
All we got is the romantic music going in.
I think that probably is a bit of that making them calmer.
Oh, this spot. I think this is where Captain Picard talks to the Proto-Vulcan people.
Oh yeah, Mintakans.
I recognize that rock behind Kirk.
Yeah. The Picard.
Kirk, you know that's not actually her, right? You get this? It's a hologram or an android or something?
I think
Hallucination,
we want to believe what we want to believe sometimes.
telepathy. Well, what I want to believe is that Captain Kirk is good at his job.
Who? Why am I looking for Sue?
Yeah, you can see there's definitely something.
Yeah, he's been messed up. Wow, birds. Oh, wait, is Mr. Rodriguez the guy who was just trying to take his scans?
I believe so.
Oh, Mr. Rodriguez is my favorite. He's still just trying to do his job. Come on, Kirk, shake it off. Wisdom save. Trying to find a picture of Picard with the Mintakans to confirm.
The Picard.
Oh yeah, that's totally it. Copy image, paste in general chats. Oh yeah, totally the same place.
Yeah.
Spock's unaffected though, probably, right? Because his big... Well, he's not there. But if he were there, his big Vulcan brain, he'd be fine. Except he's not fine. Wait, there's that episode where he gets turned into, I don't know what I would call him, but he goes all happy from the magic flowers. Shake it off. Do your job.
Yeah, fortunately, this doesn't happen too many times that a starship captain gets this enamored with his own hallucinations.
That's clearly
I feel
behind the
like it
rock, not
happens.
on it.
I feel like it happens decently often.
Yeah, but they always break out of it.
No, Gene, don't finish the script, Gene.
Well, at least she wouldn't be in like a half ripped top.
Mm.
So she needs a wardrobe change.
Like 30 years older than her.
In the Who Mourns for Adonais episode, Scotty takes the yeoman on a date. It's like it's a lot.
Oh wait, no, McCoy's not actually 30 years older because it's the 60s. He's actually like 40 or something. He just looks old.
Oh, Gene, sit down. Stay sat down, please.
It's the feudal era.
Now, I did notice when she did her little spin that she is not armed. She
Yeah.
should totally be armed. I'm not sure though. That dress looks like it's made of. I don't like the color of it
Hmm.
because it's not white. It's like off-white, like a canvas bag.
McCoy,
Yeah.
the tone there was a bit interesting.
Yeah, you could say that about this whole episode.
Very true.
In the Trelane episode, the Trelane Q character makes the yeoman wear a beautiful dress, and Kirk's like, "Don't take his gifts. I don't like it." He's like, "But Captain." And then in the Who Mourns for Adonais episode, the god makes her into a beautiful dress also. But we get a lot of beautiful dresses in TOS. Any reason to put a yeoman in a beautiful dress?
How can McCoy not understand him? That's perfectly clear. Oh, wow. A character got a full name, a first and a last name. Impressive. Wait, no, that's Rodriguez isn't the guy, because that's the guy who just wants to do his job.
Yeah,
No, I think that is Rodriguez.
Wait, is it?
Esteban Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay. Great tiger scene here because the tiger is actually in the shot ever, but we're scared all the same.
Why are you calling Dr. McCoy? You've got a gun. Do something about it.
Very pretty tiger, by the way.
It's right there. He has a phaser.
Yes.
Oh my god. We never get
That's basically very similar to what
Maid Marian.
what's her name wears in Deep Space Nine.
Vash.
No. The first time Worf meets them.
Jadzia and Kira.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I wasn't sure which one was wearing that dress.
They were both wearing that dress. I appreciate how Kira knocked out Lancelot. That was good.
Yeah.
Kirk, why didn't you shoot Finnegan? Why is nobody shooting things in this episode? The only person who fired a gun was Sulu, and he was just firing at water.
Yeah, he was just having fun.
Ducks.
Look more like geese.
Now, whatever they are, it's important to note that. God, Gene, why are you having a samurai go after the Japanese dude?
Yeah.
What's important here, though, is that the birds aren't real. Because birds aren't real in general. Ooh, I think Kirk also meets some godlike beings over here by these rocks. Oh, I'm thinking of. Is it the Metrons? I think he talks to the Metrons here.
Yeah. When they fight with the Gorn too, yeah.
And the dude with wearing a toga, he's a lot like, "Yo, you are a very enlightened society."
Hmm.
Okay, so we definitely should have established earlier that the phasers don't work.
So
Yeah.
why didn't Sulu think
But
of a fencing sword and fight the
we
samurai?
now know what it looks like when the actors try and use the phasers in reality.
Yes.
It just strews in basically nothing.
Fortunately for Kirk, though, he has another gun. He has a gun that fires physical bullets. Unless Sulu used all of them. Have we still not built the shuttle yet?
No,
Would-
no Galileo 7.
They very rarely use it, and also, well, yeah, they
Next
don't use it
episode
yet.
we have.
But also, I wouldn't necessarily even want to use it in this situation because it's draining power. What if it drains power from the shuttle as it's landing?
Hmm.
What if we put a parachute on it?
So
Wait, why? Why are you going to find the tiger? Kirk,
random
no.
tiger on the loose, random samurai on the
And
loose.
also spread out when you don't have a phaser to kill it with.
There's a killer rabbit on the loose.
Prepare to increase the counter to 8 deaths.
Hmm.
Okay, this is a really long charge scene. McCoy, you sure about that, buddy? Wow, this really is a slow charge. Eight deaths. Oh my god, Kirk remembered he had a gun. Wow. Probably should have done that before McCoy got skewered, but that's fine.
We had to test the theory that this was
How
a
does she know
hallucination.
he's dead?
He must have gotten spiked all the way through, like skewered, as Ryan said.
Hmm.
And of course, we're not going to cut to look at McCoy because they don't want to like tear his costume and put blood on it.
Too
Yeah.
much money. We didn't have money.
Oh wow, we do
No,
see
there
it.
it
Never
is.
mind. Wow. I mean, I can see McCoy moving, but still.
That I don't. The face looks weird at the moment.
You're right, though. In the TNG episode, it was just when holodeck safety's off. What we're facing is deadly real. Yes, if you weren't trying to play princess and you wanted to be dolled up so bad,
I mean, it was
McCoy would not
definitely McCoy's fault.
be.
He
True.
just stood there and let the guy stab him.
And he also said about night. Vitoy's been tempting fate all afternoon.
Frankly, he had it
I
coming.
mean, well, what they should have done was have the Queen of Hearts take off his head.
It's Data.
Why don't we just leave the planet? We don't have to understand.
Is that armor empty when it's this angle?
Yes.
Yeah, very possibly.
I think like the wax dummy was More like a guy.
Well, it's definitely a guy, and they just rub like KY jelly on his face.
Or like an inch of makeup. $3D printed. Hmm.
You wouldn't download a planet. Except on Friday when Starfield comes out. God, I want to download the planet so badly. Todd won't let me play
Thousands
it
of
yet.
planets.
Why don't you let me play it, Todd?
Well, that's actually quite good looking if it's unless it's a person. Oh hell.
I like the clearly historical foot. It's real footage. That's a real plane. Because you
Yeah.
can tell it's massively dropped in quality. They do the same thing in the episode where the Enterprise goes back in time and like they intercept a fighter plane,
Yeah, jet.
and it's actual footage of
Yeah,
a
the
Yeah.
U.S.
US
Air
Air
Force
Force
plane.
jet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
The mission
what's the one?
tomorrow's yesterday. Yes. Mission Impossible. Mission Earth. Tomorrow's
Assignment
yesterday.
Earth.
Yeah.
That's a Japanese plane.
You missed.
I'm sure it was footage of a American plane
did-
before, and then it suddenly turned into
Yeah.
Japanese.
Did she die?
Yeah. Mm,
9 deaths. It's okay. Both of the people who have died so far deserved it. McCoy for tempting fate over and over again, and her for not doing her frickin' job and finishing the scans and reports.
I mean, away team deaths are usually your own fault.
It's a 0. Yes, we know. Oh. Scott,
Dragged
how did you
off.
let that happen?
Because they're bad at their jobs, that's how. Wait, is this a twist? We've all figured this out, Spock.
Yes.
I can never tell with the show if it's trying to do a big reveal or if it's supposed to be the characters figuring out something we already know, because this happens often. Where it plays the dramatic music like, Captain, I suspect that. It's like, yeah, we know.
Yes. In other episodes, I'd say it's a simpler time that trying to make it a bit more obvious for the audience back then. For this episode, as you said, it was written as it was going, so it might have just been like, hey, we should have it made clear. I don't know, whatever.
For the slower members of the audience. Kirk, don't go after the hallucination of your high school bully. Or if you do, at least bring the gun.
Yeah, I'd bring a baseball bat if I saw my high school bully.
Lots of running in this episode.
Vasquez rocks.
Jolly music.
The actual Vasquez rocks. I didn't think we were going to see them this episode. They're always smaller than I imagine. In pictures, I feel like they're mountain-sized, but no, they're just rocks.
That's clearly just a road.
Don't worry about that. It's a park. Kirk, how are you still falling for this?
You know,
What is happening?
like I said, we had a genocide episode. We
Running.
had a submarine warfare episode. So now we need some frolicking around the pleasure planet episode.
Can we have some frolicking that doesn't involve these people being bad at their jobs?
Nope.
Kirk, there's a rock. Hit him
These
with a
people
rock.
don't know anything. They are instructed beings.
They also preface this guy as being a practical joke prankster.
hmm
He's not. He just beats Kirk.
Yeah.
Though it looks like, based on his pin, he's going to go work on a starbase.
That's where all the bullies go.
Is he? No, he's not 20.
And he's not Irish at all.
Is this Viridian 6? I don't think this
Yeah,
is
it is. It is.
Is
It
it?
is. It is. It's where Kirk was buried later.
I need a picture of Viridian. Or is it Viridian 4? Which Viridian is this?
3. Reading 3 is where.
Viridian 3.
Yeah.
And his shirt ripped randomly.
God. Every time.
Is Jim dead?
Jim Baby.
I'm going to wait till the next scene. No, he's not dead.
No.
Where did the rest of his shirt go? Is it hanging off him? It looks like some of it's just missing. He can only get out of this by making amends with his abuser.
hmm Man, this bully would fight dirty, huh? Dirt in your eye.
Quite literally
So-
dirty.
Yeah.
I was
Kirk.
supposed to be revealed in like 5 minutes. This is supposed to be a pleasure planet. What is this? Who just
They're
set this
still-
up?
They decided they lost track of the plot 20 minutes ago.
I guess this is Kirk's deepest desire to just beat Finnegan. It's not really working out, but he's trying. Oh, that was a good double fist. I was about to say the reason he's losing is because he isn't doing the double fist, but this is a really long scene, though.
Yes.
It's a long episode.
It's like Helm's Deep all over again. It takes up half the movie.
You know, I don't agree with that statement, Ryan, because the two towers feature 10,000 orcs, and this one features 100,000 orcs. So
What?
the third one, it features 100,000 orcs. The Helm's Deep one.
What does the orc count have to do with anything? What are you talking about?
What I'm saying is, though, it does need to be that long because however epic the two towers was, the Return of the Kings needs to be 10 times more epic.
Well, Helm's Deep is the fight in the second movie against 10,000 orcs.
Oh, okay, never mind.
But also, I don't think the number of combatants in the battle necessarily needs to affect the runtime. Because like even in the third movie with the Battle of Minas Tirith,
Mhm.
they keep cutting away and doing other stuff in between.
Mhm.
Two Towers is just like 50 minutes of uninterrupted Helm's Deep.
Okay, but here's the thing. So Helm's Deep is actually the best film battle in like cinema, right? Like everybody
But
else.
does it have to be that long?
It does, because look, left side is the good guys, right side is the bad guys, and it keeps that motif up throughout the whole thing.
Okay, Spock finally figured it out. Good job, Spock. Well, I like that Kirk's shirt is ripped just enough that we can see his nipples. That's very important. Thank you, Gene.
The only thing this episode needs is a Salot.
The tiger appeared very quickly, but I suppose it has already been manufactured.
Why does it
Look,
have
it
a
has it
collar?
because it's a
And
pet
where did it
tiger
come from?
from the movies.
So they did copy this episode for TNG. It was just they copied this episode on the ship.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but no, we don't get a pet Salot though. That's what I wanted. I'm such a fanboy.
Okay, that is a 0 in that shot, I think.
Yeah, I'm surprised we get the Tiger again, and these World War II aircraft. Oh my god, the
So we're just
samurai.
going through all the greatest sets now.
Okay, just knock over the samurai.
Yeah, put the dress back. Oh, her own dress is back to normal. She fixed it.
Ryan,
Yeah.
your internet's a little choppy, I think.
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, the
Oh,
exclamation
yeah,
mark went up.
it looks like it's recovering.
Yeah, it went back.
All right.
We're
Well, what I
back.
asked was, how did her dress get fixed? Because it was, like, completely torn before.
Yeah.
Yeah, that work guy does kind of look like Bashir.
I want to be a ballerina.
Gun?
So Raizo was based on this planet. Instead of controlling your mind, though, it just controls the weather.
Don't touch her, man. Leave her alone.
Yuck.
Okay, but look, man, you could at least put, like, a buoy up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A beacon?
You're,
Come on.
you're entering a thought zone.
That's not exactly what an amusement park is,
No, well, I think the old term of amusement park, like a circus or a carnival,
I suppose.
it includes like, I don't want to say deformed people, but anyone who's like been
No, that's
machine.
exactly what it included. It
Yeah,
exploited people
yeah,
who look different
Yeah.
from what they were used
yeah.
to.
Right. Thank you. So, that is what amusement was, right? Someone who's 3 feet tall, someone whose head fits into a jar.
So McCoy still counts as an away team death. They fixed him up. They brought him back to life. He still counts because he did die.
He really did.
Are
The
we
fact
sure
that he
it
got
is?
better is irrelevant.
Are we sure it is actually McCoy and not they reconfigured him using the same stuff?
Oh wow, he found Alice after all.
I also have a lot of questions about the Rigel system because they keep using different
Yeah.
numbers for Rigel. Like these are people on Rigel 2. There's Rigel 7, which is the memory medieval planet. I'm pretty
Mhm.
sure we hear about Rigel 4. So there's a
Yeah.
bunch of different civilizations in the Rigel system.
Mhm. I think we better leave them alone because it seems to be nothing good in that planetary system. And the Rigelians are kind of like the Orions too. They work with the Orions.
Who are the Rigelians? We hear about the Rigelians all the time, but we never see one.
Yeah, I think that's the plot.
I feel like they look similar to Orions.
Hmm.
I feel like they would be green.
Yeah, they're like non-green Orions, basically, right? Because do you remember that giant Bigfoot thing?
Oh my god, no, we do see a Rigelian. We see a Rigelian in Enterprise.
No, but in the Cage Menagerie thing, the Bigfoot thing that Pike has to fight with
Yeah,
Vina,
on
that's
Rigel
a
7.
That's a Rigelian, right?
No. Well, yes, but also no.
Okay.
Because as we just discussed, there's like 7 different civilizations in the Rigel system.
Yeah.
The
Enterprise one.
people who are called the Rigelians, I'll post one in the general chat. We see one in Enterprise.
Yeah.
Now, which planet? Oh, they're from Rigel 5.
And then who are the rude people with the pig noses?
Cretaceans. Oh no, with the pig people.
Yeah.
They are Tellarites.
Yeah, the other Federation founding member.
The Tellarites, who, depending on which canon source you're using, either share a star system with the Andorians,
Yeah.
or are nearby and at war.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like those 3 star systems are pretty much very connected. Like they would have been together even without Earth.
Oh, apparently there's also some turtle-like people from the Rigel system.
Mm.
The people from Rigel 7 that Pike fought, they're called Kalar.
So the episode ends with a relief of laughter, because I think we all need that after this episode.
Yes, the episode ends with Bill Shatner laughing very naturally.
That was a good episode. Let's not try to think about it too much. Written by Theodore Sturgeon.
Well,
So-
sort of. Okay.
What's next week?
Next week is nothing because I'm going to be playing Starfield. Screw you. No, I'm
Alright, the
taking a
week
week
after
off
it-
to do my own thing. The week after is going to be the Galileo 7, where they finally finish building a shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
The Squire of Gothos, which is Q.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Arena, which is the Gorn.
Yes, 17 episodes next time.
I heard that game that's coming out,
The week after.
it only starts like after you play for 90 hours.
That's not generally how usually games start when you hit 0 hours, but
But thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat.
and no, I'm not going to stream Starfields to answer that question. Go watch. I don't know who's going to be playing it.
Anybody else?
So you download
Go
a whole
watch
planet?
Soma play Starfields. He'll probably stream it.
I would. I no. I don't. I'm not done any at it, and I'm certainly not playing it until a bit later. There's lots of work to do.
Ugh. Just take like 2 weeks off, man.
I
Live on.
can't. I can't take work off during term time.
Fine,
The higher, the
fine.
fewer.
This stream is over. Everyone, be gone.
Have a great weekend, guys. Whatever's left.